Hello, hello. Once again, it's Chuckgrigsby, the worldwide. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share with you guys the Dr. King Project and the month of October that we've been doing this for 2017 all month long. We got a few days left in the month, and I really am very appreciative of all the people that's given us support. Today, I really want to talk about Dr. King and his legacy in a way through some other people that really celebrated him and really were a part of our history that I think a lot of people are not familiar with. There's some people that were at his funeral that really ended up stepping up and really making the MLK Day a national holiday. Let me highlight a couple of names: Harry Belafonte, Aretha Franklin, Eartha Kitt, Diana Ross, Sammy Davis Jr., and most importantly, Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder, if you don't know, is a musician who was a prodigy at a very young age, was making records, I believe, by the age of time of being 11 years old. So he was someone who was definitely gifted in a lot of ways, but found himself being really the face of really the movement that really makes Dr. King's birthday a national holiday now. Now, this was a 15-year battle. There was rallies all over the country by Stevie Wonder and his groups and people and his musicians. And it was something that was very, very important to him. Thankfully, we had John Connors, the legislative Senate person. I believe he was involved. He was the Senate. He was involved with the Senate, and he and labor unions really rallied together to really make this a reality. They quietly protested for years, and they really were going against a lot of different things that really distracted the attention from that. We had the anti-war protests, we had a Watergate scandal, and we had some political corruption. All the stuff that was going down during the time that they were battling to make Dr. King, Stevie Wonder, and Coretta Scott King, to really make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday. Thankfully, in 1969, we had a group of auto workers who refused to work on MLK Day, and we had, and this was in New York, and then we also had some hospital workers who went on strike until their managers agreed to have a paid holiday on MLK Day. Coretta Scott King led a rally with Connors and the union leaders in that same year, and really galvanized a lot of push and change. Now, the person I talked about, like Stevie Wonder, he was still doing his thing as well. He was conversing with Coretta Scott King. He was going around the country speaking out on national shows and TV shows, and really was the unofficial ambassador of really making this thing happen. By the time 1973 came along, they really had enough pushback where we had the United Autos Workers Union and a couple other ones that really demanded pay in their contract negotiations as far as their workers, as far as what they had going on. By the time we got to 1979, President Carter endorsed a bill at Ebenezer Baptist Church. If you don't know, that's the same church that Dr. King really gave his sermons with all throughout his career, all throughout his lifetime, which he co-pastored with his father, and he did that up until the year of his death. So it was very dramatic and very, I think, honorable of Carter to really take this on. But obviously it was shot down by Congress, led by Jesse Helm, who led the way, who was the person that really initiated the most resistance, from what I understand, the biggest pushback when it came to doing that. So after they shot it down, Stevie Wonder got really the armed forces of his musician friends, Bob Marley, and some other different people, and really start really attacking this thing in a way that was really hard to deny. Here's what he said at one point in time in a rally, and I quote, "If we cannot celebrate a man who died for love, then how can we see and we believe in it? It's up to you and me," end quote. And that was by Stevie Wonder, who was someone, again, who was an unsung hero in our history, an unsung person of influence in our history that really is a big part of really making this a reality for us. Amazingly, in 1979, Coretta Scott King had very little optimism that this was going to be a reality. And I think if for not Stevie Wonder and his involvement, I don't know if we would have this national holiday as MLK Day. What he did, in some of the different ways he went about it, he went on a tour all around the country with Bob Marley, and it was going to end up in Washington, D.C. They had a well-timed rally where it was going to be, I think, on the eve of Reagan's inauguration. And unfortunately, they lost a little bit of momentum when Bob Marley was diagnosed with cancer and he wasn't able to be involved. But he did, Stevie Wonder did galvanize and really got, I think, a poet named John Heron to really jump in and really help influence a lot of different people and keep this movement going. By 1981, in January, led by Stevie Wonder rally, and Coretta Scott been involved as well with millions of signed petitions. They showed up about 1,000 people strong on Washington, D.C., cold day, and really gave that national promise to keep that national attention in play. Reagan talked about, as far as his resistance to it, that it was going to be very costly for the nation to have another national holiday. At this point in time, I think the only two people that his birthdays were recognized as national holidays was Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. So, you know, it was a big deal of what I think Stevie Wonder was asking of people who were really against it. The next year, he did another rally, and then by the time 1982 and 1983 came along, with Coretta Scott King and Stevie Wonder testifying very eloquently, they were able to really get Jesse Helms galvanized. And Jesse Helms is the guy that definitely, the senator that pushed back the most, and made him basically self-destruct. He put out some information there and really was adamant about not allowing this to happen. And it kind of backfired on him. It did backfire on him. I believe a lot of the senators that were really aligned with him really wanted to distance themselves based on how he went about it, based on the language and the topics that he chose to attack Dr. King and his legacy. It really forced them, in my mind, to really back away and really support the movement. So in 1978, it passed. Many states refused to acknowledge it, and not to 1978 did not pass. 78 senators and 22 senators denied it as far as it passing, and that's how strong it was as far as the kickback from Jesse Helms. Excuse me on that. But anyway, after it was passed, ironically, a lot of states didn't enforce it. It was a slow process, and it took all the way up from that time in '83 to 2000, with South Carolina being the last state to acknowledge MLK Day as a national holiday. And I just thought that was interesting and another highlight of the complexity of Dr. King and some of the different things that he was able to accomplish and the influence he had on others and what he was able to do, but still have a lot of problems every step of the way in getting things accomplished, and how he still persevered as usual in his legacy and in his work. This is Chuck Grigsby, GUD Worldwide. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you guys once again. I hope you guys really appreciate Stevie Wonder, along with Coretta Scott King, and really making this a national holiday, along with a lot of those other musicians I mentioned that were involved with really making this a reality. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys, and we'll come back with more. Take care. GUD Worldwide.